This is the mullet, the 80s. Look at the long 80s hair. I started young. That was my very first buck right there in 1986. But these are some early photos. Yeah.
The old mustache.
Yeah, the stash.
Hey guys, this is Nick Man, your host of Beards and Bows Outdoors. Today I'm with Dan and Wesley.
Hey.
Dan's going to tell you a little bit about himself and his obvious love for deer hunting. Let's get into it.
Well, again, I'm Dan Moore, 61. I'm an old fart. And it's funny because when I started bow hunting, I literally knew nothing. I didn't know a person that bow hunted. I didn't know nothing at all. And I got my first bow from my uncle. Found out later that it was the wrong hand. It was the wrong hand, had 0 sights, 0 arrow rest, and I'm just going out there flinging arrows. I mean, I could literally write a book on how not to kill a deer because I made so many mistakes along the way, learning. And eventually, I kind of started figuring it out. And the one thing I did want to do is make it easier for kids to learn faster than I did. And so I became a firearm hunter and safety instructor.
Oh, nice.
And then I was also a bow hunter education instructor. And I did both those for about 18 years when I lived in Michigan. So, I mean, we would teach 5 classes a summer of firearm safety and 3 to 4 classes of bow hunter education. And I was certified through the state. Nice. So, I mean, we literally put thousands of kids through firearm hunter safety, and the bow hunter education classes, that was adults and kids. Because if you go to a lot of Western states, you have to you used to have your bow hunter education class because a lot of them states required it. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into hunting. And as you can see, I'm eaten up by it. And it's funny because a lot of my buddies are like, 10 or 20 years younger than me, like, have you slowed down yet? I'm like, dude, I get literally worse every year, fanatical. It never ends between shed hunting in the spring, setting cameras out. I run over 100 cameras, summer scouting, shooting bows, getting this little guy here into hunting. My son killed his first buck at 11 years old the first day he was out. Nice. Took me 4 years to kill my first deer with a bow, so it helps to have a mentor. If you're a beginner, get you somebody who knows what they're doing, and you can learn a lot.
Even if they're not very good, just get out there with somebody and learn as you go.
Absolutely, and it's fun. I mean, like I say, I could write a book on how not to do it, but I still haven't made all the mistakes out there. Yeah. But, basically my scouting for the summer starts as soon as gun season is over. As soon as the season's over, I'm in the woods looking, figuring out, kind of doing an assessment. What did I do wrong, if I didn't have a good season, and what can I do better? In fact, this year, my goal is to try to kill one with a recurve. I tried last year and I got frustrated, but, practicing a lot. And like I tell him, it's not practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Good practice makes perfect.
Yes. Once
you start getting tired, quit, because you get bad habits. That's why we shoot a couple of shots, then we take a break and start over.
That's what I do. I'll go out, I'll shoot 1 shot.
Yep.
If it's on,
I'm
good
done.
to go.
Yeah.
If it's not, I'll shoot a couple more, and then I'll go back in the house for an hour. Then I'll come back out, and as long as you're consistent with that single shot every hour, then you're good for the deer woods.
Absolutely.
Most of the time, you're only going to get that single shot.
And bow hunting specifically, in my opinion, is 90% mental. I mean, you got to get prepared. Yeah. And the things you do between scouting, practicing, figuring out what's new things out there to learn. I literally have a library of books, and back when everyone did it, hunting videos, I have every hunting video out. Just about trying to just eat up every little bit I can to learn, but nothing beats boots on the ground. Yes. Getting out there and following a deer trail. When I was in Michigan, we always had snow, so you could follow a deer trail for miles. Down here, it's a little trickier, but that is, when I say mental, having a positive mental attitude. Yes. I believe, and it takes experience, but if you go out there thinking, I'm not sure if I'm going to get a deer, you already you're losing the battle. Mine, and it sounds arrogant, but it's not. Mine is not, am I going to get a deer? It's how big and how many.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
But and then it's the smallest little details. I'm talking about when I walk up to my tree stand, that what I call the killing zone, that 30 yards around my tree, I get so particular. I won't even brush up against a weed. I make that trail, you know. But I'm constantly thinking, if I could see wind, if the wind was a color and you could see it, I want to know what direction the wind is blowing. And when I see a deer, not just is the you know, the deer is coming towards me. Why is it coming towards me, and where did it come from, and where is it going? Yeah. And you can't know all this, but just having that inquisitive mind makes you start thinking and start putting those puzzles together. Yeah. But you'll see when you pulled up, I'm sitting there in front of my desk over there, putting cameras together, you know, studying my maps on now everything. You used to have the big maps. Now it's all on my phone. But you know, plotting what's my plan for this weekend. What's the wind direction going to be, you know? And it's one thing to kill a deer, but to kill a big buck, you have to do those little details, you know, and plan it out.
You got to do that little extra.
A little extra, you know. Someone once said, you know, some guys are like, you're lucky. Well, luck is where preparation and opportunity meet. Yeah. You know, the more I prepare mentally, physically, with my equipment, the luckier I get. And I'll take luck over skill any day, right. You know, but it helps to have some background, kind of know what you're doing. Like this little guy shot his first deer at 7 years old. And
with a rifle.
With a rifle, nice 10-point. And it literally, like I said, it took me 4 years to kill my first deer with a bow. Yeah. And it was funny because I even got my dad into bow hunting. And I took him out because I refused to shoot a doe. I wanted my first one to be a buck with a bow. Yeah. And I put my dad in a tree, and he's like, pow. First day he killed a doe. And he's like, what's so hard about that? I'm like, all right, that's it. So my dad just teased me because I hadn't killed one yet. And the next time I went hunting, I killed a doe. And then it just gave me that boost of confidence, getting that first deer with a bow, that then it just started gradually getting easier and easier, you know. But
sometimes you got to just break that ice.
Break the ice.
That's what I'm going to be trying to do with my daughter. Youth season this weekend, get her first deer.
Yep.
Last year she came pretty close, but she kept trying to move instead of waiting on the deer to move behind the tree.
Well,
busted out.
We took, you know, his dad and I took him out for his first bow hunt 2 years ago. We were setting a ground blind. He had a little buck that was walking straight to him. And it was funny because his little legs are just shaking like a leaf. And even that close, I'm like, you can't shoot him yet because he was coming straight on. Much as I wanted him to get his first deer right then, you know, you still got to be responsible about taking that perfect shot. But now you've learned.
And like a couple years later, I shot the same buck.
Yep. What's his name?
Elliot.
Elliot.
Nice.
And he's got Elliot hanging in his house now.
Awesome.
So now he thinks he's going to shoot the big drop time buck that I'm after.
I hope you do.
Yeah. Yeah, it never ends. Now I'm just planning for the next one.
Some advice to a new hunter.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it's funny because I saw on Facebook, because I'm older now, you kind of mature. You see a lot of Facebook bullies.
Yeah.
So if you have a new hunter out there, and a lot of the youngsters are off Facebook savvy and social media savvy, and the instant success, everybody wants it. Yes. But if I had a brand new hunter come out, in fact, I just invited a friend to come down from Michigan and hunt with me. He's not a new hunter, but he kind of reminded me of a younger me. Yeah. I wanted to kill a big buck so bad, you know, because I come from the state of Michigan, and there's big bucks in Michigan, but there's so many hunters that it's hard to kill a decent buck. And this guy's like, can I, you know, he was just looking for advice on where to go. I'm like, you know what, why don't you get with me, and if you want to come down in November, I'll set you up on a spot and kind of walk him through it.
Right.
On what to look for. But, you know, there's lessons you learn. Like the first thing I learned coming from Michigan, we have one of the biggest populations anywhere. Michigan and Pennsylvania, I think, are probably the two highest populated states. So you see a lot of deer. You come down here, and there's just not half as many deer.
Yeah.
But chances of seeing a bigger one really goes up.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I literally left my home state and come down here just to hunt bigger bucks. I mean,
Oh, it shows.
yeah. I mean, well, here's an example. In 25 years of bow hunting in Michigan, I think I killed 2 Pope and Young bucks.
Yeah.
When I moved down here, I killed 1 or 2 almost every year since.
Oh, wow.
And
That's nice.
I mean, it takes getting lucky. It takes knowing what you're doing, but you can't kill a big buck if they're not there.
Yeah.
And here you have better opportunity. In fact, I got to stop shooting the 120-inch bucks.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it, but up there, that's a big buck.
Yeah.
But if I have a new hunter, first thing I would say is get with somebody, ideally, so you don't make a lot of the rookie mistakes I made when I was starting because I didn't know anybody. We didn't have hunting videos. There wasn't very many archery shops. Bow hunting was kind of, I'd say new, but there wasn't a lot of people doing it yet.
It was more do it yourself.
Yeah. And now there's so many avenues, but get with somebody who's not just a social media wannabe movie star. Get with somebody who
Puts the
time in, teaches you boots on the ground. That's very important to get out and scout. I scout more than I hunt, literally.
Yeah.
Whether it's from studying maps, using cameras, but mostly it's getting just out there and scouting and learning property. And I thoroughly believe it takes 3 to 4 years before you get really knowledgeable of one farm. If you hunt multiple farms, so I love to scout. You're going to have 2 or 3 years. You can get lucky and kill a good buck, but and the best way to learn those farms, I think, is following a wounded buck. Follow a blood trail. It'll take you places I'm like, wow, I never thought to go, That's
I never thought about that.
absolutely. And unfortunately, when I was young, I had a lot of blood trails that was longer than it should have been.
Yeah.
But it
Don't we
literally,
all?
it literally teaches you, wow, a buck would go through here. But there's so many out of the way places that a buck will lay up and hide
Yeah.
that people overlook and don't think about.
Yeah.
But, sometimes a new hunter will stumble across one of those. This buck right here on the wall, this one right here,
Yeah.
a buddy of mine, not that one, that's actually a pair of sheds, but he killed a monster. And what he did, there was right out in the middle of the field was just a big, kind of like an island of trees, and it was gun season. He walks out there and he's barking like a dog. That's so unorthodox. But he's like, it's middle of the day, I could be setting, a deer camp, but I'm gonna. And he walked up there, started barking, and a big buck jumps up out of the middle of that thing with a doe, and he shoots it.
Oh man.
And another guy told me years ago, it's a little dangerous during gun season, but you can literally shock a deer to make him stop by running right at him.
Really?
I mean, my grandpa used to do that.
Like turkey hunting.
Yeah, and basically, my grandpa used to, he was a very on-the-move guy, hunter, and he would run. He'd see a deer if it's too far to shoot, because you could only use shotguns in Michigan,
Yeah.
he would run at dead speed right at the buck, and they'd be like, what? And they'd stop, because how many people run right at a deer?
Right.
It shocks them, and all of a sudden he cut that distance in half, and he stops, catches his breath, and drops a deer.
Nice.
And I've done that myself a few times.
Huh, I might have to try that.
Yeah. Be careful. Well, Michigan is a lot more hunters. Here you have more private ground, but yeah, be careful about running at an animal. But
Yeah, especially on public.
on public land, yeah, you might get in trouble. But, here's the tip. You're never too old to try something new. This is the first year I'm hunting with a saddle.
Yeah.
And, I thought, in fact, I was talking to one of the guys from the mobile hunting website, and I'm like, what else? Can this old guy do it? I'm 61. And, he really encouraged me. One of my buddies from Alabama said, you got to do it,
Yeah.
And I'm already portable. I mean, I have lone wolf stands and sticks, and I can go anywhere. But now I'm going to cut my weight in half, and I can basically go anywhere, quietly climb a tree, and I'm there.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of having one extra tool in that tool belt to try.
More shot opportunities from the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed how I could, that little bitty platform, I could turn almost 360 degrees and shoot. I'm like, I could actually move better than in a tree stand. And the difference too is you're completely locked in the whole time. So it is safer. I thought it wouldn't be safer, but you're hooked to your harness is always hooked to a tree. So no matter if you step off of that, you're not going anywhere. Might drop your bow, but
Right.
you're in that. Whereas with my hang-on stand, sometimes I'd wear a safety harness, sometimes I didn't.
Yeah.
I'd get lazy, I'd leave it at home. Here, it's part of the gear. It's how you get up the tree, so you have it on all the time.
You have to wear it.
Yeah, so I think that's a good thing.
Good tip there.
Yep, absolutely. So what are you gonna do for hunting this year?
I don't know.
You just gonna hunt hard? All right, but no bragging. Sure.